He gave it to me on a Wednesday morning, wrapped in an old handkerchief that smelled faintly of tobacco and dust. I didn't expect a gift, not from him. My father was never the sentimental type, or so I thought. The object was small, cold, and heavier than it looked. A pocket watch, scratched across its face, with a leather strap so worn it felt like paper in my hand. "It doesn't even work," I muttered, a little ungratefully. He didn't flinch. He just smiled that quiet smile of his, the one that seemed to hold 1,000 things he would never say aloud, and replied, "It still works. It just doesn't rush anymore." I chuckled at what I assumed was an old man's poetic nonsense. But now I realize he was right. Back then, I was living in fifth gear, moving from meeting to meeting, email to email, accomplishment to accomplishment. I was proud of being productive, proud of always being the one who showed up, who finished early, who stayed late. I wore my exhaustion like a medal. My father never told me to slow down. He just watched me burn out quietly. And when the time was right, he handed me something that didn't even tick. I tossed the watch into my desk drawer and forgot about it for months. I was too busy to pay attention to objects that didn't serve a function. I ran faster, climbed higher, pushed further, until one morning my body gave out. Not in a dramatic way, I just couldn't get up. My limbs felt like sandbags. My head buzzed with static, and for the first time in my life, I had nothing left to give. I canceled my meetings. I turned off my phone. I sat in silence that felt louder than anything I'd ever heard. And out of some strange instinct, I opened that drawer. The watch was still there, still broken, still silent. But as I held it, something shifted. I remembered sitting on the porch with my father when I was a child, him sipping his coffee slowly, like he had nowhere else to be, while I fidgeted with toys and asked endless questions. I remembered the way he used to pause before answering, like each word had weight. I remembered how he'd sit next to me without speaking, and somehow it always made me feel safe. The man who never rushed me had given me a gift that didn't move, and suddenly it felt like the most precious thing I owned. That day, I began to notice things again. The way sunlight moved across the floor during the morning, the way the air smelled after rain, the taste of coffee when you're not checking your email between sips. I began to measure time differently, not in how much I could get done, but in how much I could feel. I wore the watch, even though it didn't tell the time, because it reminded me that time wasn't something to conquer. It was something to enter, something to be inside of, and more importantly, something to share. My father and I didn't talk much in those last few years, but when we did, it was slow, deliberate, and real. We sat in quiet often, but it wasn't empty. It was full of something sacred, presence. That kind of presence can't be manufactured or bought or rushed. When he passed away, the watch was the only thing I asked for. My siblings took the photos, the medals, the tools. I just wanted this tiny, silent machine that had taught me how to be still. I keep it now in a small wooden box on my bookshelf, and I open it sometimes, not to see the time, but to remember what it feels like to live inside a moment. Because the truth is, time doesn't move the way we think it does. It doesn't run away from us. We run away from it. And when we finally stop chasing, stop sprinting through life with our heads down, we realize it's been waiting, quietly, patiently, just like my father did.